This account is true, though greatly condensed, a record of an experience during the days when life hung in the balance between time and eternity. If I can only dimly show the close linking of the two lives, the mortal with the divine, as they then appeared to me, I may be able to partly tear the veil from the death we so dread, and show it to be only an open door into the new and beautiful phase of the life we now live. In those strange, happy hours, the close blending of the two lives, so wrapped about with the Father's watchful care and tender love, the reunion of friends with the dear earth ties unchanged, the satisfied desires, the glad surprises and the divine joys, all intensified and illumined by the reverence and love and adoration that all hearts gave to the Blessed Trinity, appeared to me the most perfect revelation of that blessed life, of which here we so fondly dream. With the hope that it may comfort and uplift some who hear, even as it then did, and as memory ever will do for me, I submit this imperfect sketch of a most perfect vision. In those wonderful days of agonized suffering and great peace, I felt that I had truly found as never before the refuge of the everlasting arms. One morning, dark and stormy, after a day and night of intense suffering, I seemed to be standing on the floor of my bed. Someone was standing by me, and when I looked up, I saw it was my husband's favorite brother who crossed the river many years ago. "My dear brother Frank," I cried joyously, "how good of you to come!"
"It was a great joy to me that I could do so, sister,"
he said gently.
"Shall we go now?"
He drew toward the window. He walked on with firm, swift steps, and I think I must have slept, for the next thing I knew, I was sitting in a sheltered nook made by flowering shrubs upon the softest and most beautiful turf of grass, thickly studded with fragrant flowers, many of them the flowers I had known and loved on earth. But even in that first moment, I observed how perfect was every plant and flower. Beneath the trees, in many happy groups, were little children, laughing and playing, running hither and thither in their joy, and catching in their tiny hands the bright-winged birds that flitted in and out among them, as though sharing in their sports as they doubtless were. All through the grounds, older people were walking, sometimes in groups, sometimes by twos, sometimes alone, but all with an air of peacefulness and happiness that made itself felt by even me, a stranger. All were in spotless white, though many wore about them or carried in their hands clusters of beautiful flowers. As I looked upon their happy faces and their spotless robes, again I thought, these are they who have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. Look where I would, I saw, half hidden by the trees, elegant and beautiful houses of strangely attractive architecture that I felt must be the homes of the happy inhabitants of this enchanted place. I caught glimpses of sparkling fountains in many directions, and close to my retreat flowed a river with placid breast and water clear as crystal. The walks that ran in many directions through the grounds appeared to me to be of pearl, spotless and pure, bordered on either side by narrow streams of pellucid water, running over stones of gold. The one thought that fastened itself upon me as I looked, breathless and speechless, upon this scene was purity, purity. No shadow of dust, no taint of decay on fruit or flower, everything perfect, everything pure. The air was soft and balmy, though invigorating. Instead of sunlight, there was a golden and rosy glory everywhere, something like the afterglow of a southern sunset in midsummer. As I drew in my breath with a short, quick gasp of delight, I heard my brother, who was standing beside me, say softly,
"Well?"
And looking up, I discovered that he was watching me with keen enjoyment. I had, in my great surprise and delight, wholly forgotten his presence. Recalled to myself by his question, I faltered, Oh, Frank, when such an overpowering sense of God's goodness and my own unworthiness swept over me that I dropped my face into my hands and burst into uncontrollable and very human weeping. Said my brother, in a tone of self-reproach.
I'm inconsiderate.
And lifting me gently to my feet, he said,
Come, I want to show you the river.
Thus encouraged, I stepped into the gently flowing river, and to my great surprise, found in the water in both temperature and density almost identical with the air. What marvelous water! What wonderful air, I said to my brother, as we again stepped upon the flowery sword. Are all the rivers like this one?
Not just the same, but similar.
We walked on a few steps, and then I turned and looked back at the shining river.